Jesus Christ, please help Chelsea Handler. All right. Second story of the day. Sorry about that. I had to just get a prayer in. Second story I want to talk about today is why the polls are not accurate. So you have pollsters now trying to join, I guess, the radical left who's going to destroy liberal cities. They just destroy their own neighborhood. It's pretty weird. It's like they're so afraid of conservatives and real men and police that they don't go to conservative neighborhoods because they get kicked out or arrested. So they just beat up on their own people. They're like, let me beat up on my own neighborhood. I'm so mad. It's like, yeah, destroy Hispanic neighborhoods. That's a real way to show you love them, these morons. But anyway, you have pollsters now acting like if Trump doesn't win, our poll model suggests that there must be some foul play involved because we're such smart people. These are the same idiots that got 2016 wrong. They said 98%, 99% Hillary Clinton can't possibly lose because I'll explain what they do on a scientific level, guys. It's metaphoric, but their heads are so far up their own ass. You've ever heard that metaphor? Your head's in your own ass. Their heads are so far up their own ass, all they see is their own shit. But they think it's like the word of God. They think they're looking at like Jesus Christ having, a reawakening or something. So they're looking at their own shit because their head's so far up their own ass, and they see all their own shit, and they say, this is 100% settled science. I mean, if my own shit isn't right, then, the election's got to be, something had to happen if Trump wins because, all the things are there. My poll can never be wrong, but it's not the poll. It's not science. It's not math. It's actually their own shit because their head's so far up their own ass. So that's what's happening. I could help them with science and math if they need help. So they're so full of shit and their head's in their own ass. So when you're full of shit and your head's around that much shit, excuse my language, it's a lot of shit that, they're getting, their vision is cloudy, but the opposite of clouds because it's brown. But this is disgusting. Anyway, point I'm trying to get to is they don't know what they're talking about. And the reason that polls are inaccurate is so simple. It's funny because they act like this is a new concept. They destroy common sense. They destroy like basic logic and reason skills that people used to have. You read, I got books over here, but I bring this up a lot. You read, this is Color Communism and Common Sense by Manning Johnson, a black communist who left the Communist Party. You read his writing. He's smarter than any guy today, and they're all, college educated and stuff, but they're idiots. It's like, what's the point of being dumber than someone 80 years ago? They have no common sense. But anyway, this book, I believe, was written in 1954. This is called How to Lie with Statistics. So they're acting like this is a new concept. Oh my God, my poll can never be wrong. In 1954, Darrell Huff wrote about how to lie with statistics, and he made a case for why polls are inaccurate and why they're kind of built to be inaccurate. This is not new. This has been around for almost 100 years now, the common sense and knowledge of why a poll is inaccurate. And I'm just going to go through a few. I don't even remember. I'm halfway through this book. I don't even remember exactly why they said polls are fake, but because I'm not a complete moron like Nate Silver and all these idiot left-wing pollsters, I can just tell you why the polls are inaccurate. And, I'm sure you could add a few reasons why. So the first one I'm going to answer is one of the simplest reasons that they're inaccurate. So I started looking at polls last year. I think it was a Washington Post poll and a CNN poll, and they said, 57% of people say this and 37% of people say this. And I'm thinking to myself, where do they get these numbers? This doesn't sound right to me. Where do they get these numbers? How many people did they ask? People repeat polls, but they don't even know how many people were questioned. So I went through the back end, I clicked a few links, and I found out they only asked like 871 people. So I'm thinking to myself, that's it? Some of these polls, one reason that they're always fake is because they're not asking enough people. If you only ask 871 people from a landline or a mobile line, obviously it's like, and then you say, well, 350 million people in America feel this. Like, dude, you asked 800 people from a landline and from a cell phone. I never answer questions on a landline. You will never catch me telling the truth to a telemarketer ever. I'm either not going to answer or because leave me alone. I don't want someone. Do you like Trump? Not for you, bro. Get out of my face. No, I like Biden. So in general, they're only asking 800 people. So the first most obvious reason polls are inaccurate. Look up how many people there are. You can't possibly ask everybody. The only poll that matters is election day when everybody votes, and that's what matters. That's why every poll was wrong except for the one poll that mattered, the election. That's when all the votes are counted. You ask 100 people or 1,000 people or 5,000 people, and then you say you know how 100 million people feel, you're never going to know. And it's not my theory. It's like anomalies. No, it was written in 1954 in this book. How to Lie with Statistics, and it goes through every way that it's so easy to lie. It's so simple. These people are so stupid. Another reason is, I kind of mentioned there, is people don't always tell the truth on the phone. So for instance, I'll never tell a pollster or somebody who comes to my door how I feel, because I don't want them to smash my door in, because left-wingers are psychopaths. So the same reason why if I owned a business in Los Angeles, I'd move my business out. Not because of MAGA, because left-wingers can't seem to run a city properly, and they don't seem to care if your business gets broken into. So I had a Bernie Sanders guy go to my old apartment in Los Angeles, and he's like, hey, are you voting for Bernie? You think I'm going to tell him, oh yeah, I'm voting for Trump. Yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump. Bernie sucks. He's a communist. I'm not going to tell this kid, because I don't know if he's connected to Antifa or some of these little demon terrorists. So I just kind of BS with him. I'm like, I'm thinking about it, but, I like Tulsi Gabbard a little bit better, which I do actually. But, I was like, I don't know about Bernie, but, I don't think he's going to get my vote, but I like Tulsi. And, I just bullshit with him. I'm like, and then I lock my door, and it's like, don't come back, bro. So it's like, I'm not telling the truth to people who come to my door. I'm also not going to tell the truth to people who call me. Sorry, folks. Newsmax just called me. I think they're trying to give me a show, so I'm so popping. They're trying to call me during my live stream. Come on, we're live here. Let's get professional. No, I'm just kidding. But that's really what happened. But anyway, so on the phone, if someone has my phone number, I'm thinking, how'd you get my phone number? Do you know my address? Do you know this? So and then it's like, do you like Trump? I'll be like, I'll either hang up or say no. I'm third party. I'm voting for Gary Johnson. I don't know. Leave me alone. I'm never giving these people the truth. So the second most obvious reason that polls are fake is, one, they don't ask 100 million people. They ask 800 or 1,000 or a couple thousand max, and then act like it's the word of God. These people are so full of shit. And then they're so egotistical. They're calling the pollster. It's equivalent to like a nerd sitting in the stands and being like, LeBron James is going to win the playoffs. And it's like, maybe, but like, if he loses, you don't get to decide what happens. There's 5 players on that side. There's 5 players on that side. You could be the smartest analytical genius on the planet, but at the end of the day, those players play the game, and the score is the score. That's why betting odds are betting odds. Sometimes you bet on the underdog and you win a lot of money, because it doesn't work like that. It's the game that matters. It's the election that matters. It's not your little analytics, Nate Silver. Oh, when I put the numbers together, so I'm Mr. Number Man. I'm Nate Silver, the number man. I got all the numbers from thousands of people from the landline, and I'm just going to assume I know what happened in Pennsylvania. Oh, Trump is down 10 points in Wisconsin because I said so. It's like, Nate Silver, you don't know shit, bro. Anybody that says Trump is down 10 points in Wisconsin, are you an idiot? I mean, he could lose Wisconsin, but he's not down 10 points. He's down like 2 points maximum. He's probably up a point, but they're like, he's down 15 points. It's like, who are you asking, moron? You're asking 1,000 people by landline and a cell phone, and then you think they're telling you the truth, and then you think that's gonna, represent 100 million people. You idiot. These people are such clowns. I love just making fun of them for a living. But another reason that, it's not proper, and I was listening to Robert Barnes, fantastic lawyer and, news analyst. I like that guy a lot. He was talking to the People's Pundit. I was listening to a podcast earlier, and they made a good point. They were talking about how they oversample certain groups. So sometimes they oversample age groups. Like you could see the data of the certain polls. They make them transparent. And the one poll, they lowered the average age. So it's like you ask younger people, it's going to skew more Biden because younger people tend to vote liberal more. So this is so simple. Sometimes they skew political parties. Sometimes they ask too many Democrats. Sometimes they don't understand the way a county works. So say they go to, this is the example they used, Chester County, Pennsylvania. How many people are they asking in Chester? Are they asking every single voter in Chester? No, there's no chance they're asking every single voter in Chester County. They're asking as many people as they can ask. And here's the thing, who knows how good their employee is? How good is their tone? How good is, do people want to talk to them? Are they actually good at their job? Are they, these are things they don't think about. But say Chester County, you ask 1,000 people. First of all, it's never going to be accurate. Second of all, did you make sure to hit every single pocket, every single ethnic group? Did you get the Italians, the Germans? Do all the Germans and Italians think the same way? Did you, compensate for the fact that it's 20% rural and some people it's more urban in certain areas? Did you get enough rural people? These are all things that matter, and you can't, no matter how accurate it is, and first of all, these pollsters are idiots, so they're not accurate at all. Even if you're the most accurate pollster doing the best work, it's still just a freaking poll. You're still only asking a couple thousand people and suggesting that 100 million people feel the same way. It's so simple. And once again, they act like I'm so stupid, even though I'm reading a bunch of these, books where they say what they're doing, where they're like, they think they're God. This is why liberals need to get off the Constitution, get off the First Amendment, get off the Second Amendment, get off your right to, speak freely on the internet. They need to get off your business. They need to get off the mask mandate. They need to literally go to hell. No offense, but it's like, leave me alone. They're like leeches. They're like all over you. They're like, this is what I need. It's like, no, your polls are wrong. It's fine. You could be wrong. Just leave me the F alone. All they want to do is steal tax money, steal health insurance, steal the individual mandate, your right to opt out so you can actually not have health insurance. Now, there's actually doctors that don't do insurance. It's called Forward. This is not an ad. I just saw it though. It's called Forward. You pay monthly. It's like a revolutionary new thing where it's like, you don't have to get insurance. It's its own doctor. They're trying to do like a new age doctor thing where you just pay monthly and you have like a subscription like Netflix. It's a genius idea. But you know who screws these people over? California and all the Democrat cities, because they make you get health insurance that you don't want and they charge you if you don't get it. So you can't even let this business thrive. They're so stupid. I'm so tired of these people. But anyway, they act like it's this big conspiracy theory. There's books written about it 70 years ago that explain exactly why polls are inaccurate. Many of them are created to be inaccurate, to sell an ad or sell a certain political ideology. But also even the most accurate poll on the planet is not the word of God. These people think their own shit doesn't stink. They think that their fake numbers and their fake news and their fake analysis and their fake lies is the word of God. Nate Silver has the right to be a moron. He has the right to be a terrible pollster. He has the right to be a liar. I don't care. But he doesn't have the right to act like he's Jesus Christ reincarnated and suggest that if he's wrong, that there must be some foul play involved because his numbers are so pure. His numbers suck. He's not good at his job. And even if he was perfect at his job, if he was an honest guy, he would understand what I just told you about all the reasons that polls are never going to be exactly accurate. The best you could do, it's like guesstimate. You get, and then this is the funny thing. It's like, out of how many pollsters did they have last time? I think like 3 or 4 mainstream ones or non-mainstream ones got it right. Like a majority got it wrong. It's like picking a number. I mean, you could watch a basketball game and be like, I think the Lakers are going to win by 10. I think they're going to win by 9. I think they're going to win by 8. I think they're going to win by 7. I think the Heat's going to win by 7. You get 30 people who guess, and then no matter how smart they are or not, it's like 3 or 4 people are going to be close. It's like, well, I guess that Trump would win by 4 and he won by 2. It's like, that doesn't mean you're a genius. It could just be the luck of the draw. Definitely your poll, the people you asked were more representative, but it's when you have 50 people doing a poll, it's not that impressive that a few people got them right, or, well, I was only 5 points off. Wow. It's like picking jelly beans in a jar. It's like you get 100 guesses. Oh, I came the closest. Congratulations. Now you get a $3 million contract or something by one of these idiot news stations to be their new liar for next year. It's such a laughable joke. These people are so stupid. But once again, before I end, you have the right to be an idiot, but they think they have the right to run your life. They think they have the right to lock you down. They think they have the right to act surprised when these terrorists are destroying neighborhoods and boarding up stuff because their politicians and their cities cannot handle themselves and they don't want to accept help. They think they have the right to just steal everything else from everybody. It's like, leave us alone. So I'm voting for, I already told people, but I already voted actually. I voted for President Trump. He's one of the only leaders in the free world, if not the only leader, that's against the lockdowns and these crazy mandates. Like, this is a lot more about a lot of other stuff that they've written about than it is about just public safety. The data doesn't always add up, just like the polls don't add up. By design, these people are idiots. And the more they're wrong, they just get more angry. They try to sabotage anybody who's right, and they want total control. And really, people need to start figuring this out, because I know there's a lot of kids who are socialists and communists, and they think it's part of the revolution. They're like, man, Bernie Sanders, I know because I've been there. I wasn't a communist, but I thought Bernie was the real deal. But the further right when you go on a political scale, you go to like Rand Paul, Libertarian, and Ron Paul, it means less government. Libertarians don't want government. Then you have the Republican Party that's like smaller government, but government's still too big. Then you have the Democratic Party that's like more government, and it's way too big. And then you have the modern day Democratic communist fusion where you have Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden working together, and you're thinking, man, why is Bernie Sanders working with Joe Biden? Because Bernie's like so different. They're not different. It's total control. Communism. I have the book here too, the Communist Manifesto. It's total control of the media, total control of communication, total control of banking, total control of transport, total control of everything. So Bernie Sanders and the communist kids destroying these businesses, you're not a threat to Amazon. Amazon is supporting you. Amazon is promoting you. Why is every single major corporation that you hate so much, why is every single major news station besides Fox that you hate so much, why are they all supporting you? Why are they all supporting your Black Lives Matter movement? Why are they all saying nothing about you destroying? Because they want you to do it. It's part of the Communist Manifesto. Abolish private property. If people don't have private property, guess who doesn't suffer? You could destroy an Amazon building, but they own 5,000. And if people don't own their own buildings, eventually they'll own more. It's a way to funnel money and power to the top. Bernie Sanders was never a threat to the establishment. He was never fighting Joe Biden. They're working together for total control. So left wing is total government control. And this is what happens in this country right now. You're seeing a loss of freedom. You're seeing you can't even breathe air or run your business normally. Everything's at a capacity, like we're in some sort of slave, sci-fi horror movie where we're treated like animals now that we've been predicting for 10, 15 years now, and everybody called us crazy. Alex Jones, David Icke, everybody said this was going to happen, Bill Cooper, and then it happens, and then everybody acts brand new about it. But anyway, this is what happens when the Republican Party gets a bigger government, the Democratic Party gets a bigger government, and we're blessed, although I would say even he needs to go further towards libertarian, to have President Donald Trump, who's actually against all this BS. He's against the mask mandates. He's against the lockdowns. He's one of the biggest protests in the country right now, just touring the country, doing 5 shows a day like a rock star, showing everybody it's okay to gather. It's okay to be free. It's okay to have fun. We're lucky to have him. He's the biggest protester in the country right now. Without him, imagine if the government was against you and said, if you protest or do this, you got to go to jail. This is crazy. This is a beautiful thing. And, he tried to wrangle in the intelligence communities. He didn't do it, but he tried, kind of. Maybe he could have tried harder. But what did they do? They've been sabotaging him for 3 or 4 years straight. He is the people's president. He's probably the last one we're ever going to have. So, I don't like to tell people what to do, but to be honest, it could not be more night and day good and evil right now. The people on the left and the people who are, these pollsters and these scientist experts and stuff who are routinely wrong. They're wrong about ice melting. They're wrong about the polls. They think their lies and their bad data sets are the word of God. They want total control over your life. It's not just like they're lying in the news now. It's like they want everything from you. They want your freedom, everything. And if you dare disagree with them, you're the bad person. God knows what they do if they get power, and I hope they never do. So that's it for today, folks. Thank you guys for joining and listening. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. I'm going to answer some questions and hang out for a little bit. But as always, if you would, dreamrare.com, DREAMRARE. I have shirts, I have a hat, and I'm going to start making more. And then I have patreon.com/raretalk. If you'd like to support, I answer messages there. You don't have to. It's totally optional, but it's a subscription base to fight all this BS that Facebook and else is doing. And if you got a God Bless hat or a shirt and it seems like it's taking long, sometimes it does. But also I think I have 50 orders or so that I have to refund because a lot of people bought the white hat and I guess they sold out, and I apologize for that. But thousands of people had no problem. If you ever do have a problem, please just email me. I'll take care of it and refund you. And it shouldn't happen that much more. It's the COVID thing. It's like COVID just ruined it. Like, we don't have hats because of COVID. We can't do this because of COVID. It's like nobody wants to do their job anymore because of COVID. But it's all good. But it's a little annoying. They're like, well, because of COVID, we're going to get new white hats in 2021. I'm like, what did COVID-19 do? It's not COVID's fault. It's your fault. But whatever. All right. Appreciate you guys.